G'day everyone, a very exciting video. You know, there's something really weird in Ireland. There is a pyramid, not this one on the screen, but there is a pyramid which appears to be an Atlantic type pyramid, the type you find on the Azores, on Tenerife, in Sicily, in Mauritius, and it is under the radar. No one knows about it, and people are calling it a folly. They think a local landowner built it. No, in this video I'm going to prove otherwise. It's genuine, but it could have been rebuilt. So Ireland has an Atlantic stepped pyramid. Now let's look at this. You know, this is from the 1500s, a book about Giza. You know, you have this Sphinx head here. They didn't know what it looked like. They didn't have photos. They didn't have internet. And local landowners, you know, the squireocracy of the land would have had these books in their libraries. And you know, it's boring sometimes if you're very rich and you have people to manage everything for you. And can you imagine, they would have been like, oh, I'm bored, why can't we have some pyramids here on our lands? So that, they looked up these books and they tried to build pyramids in the same way as they thought represented Egypt. And they built things like this. You see? This is Farley Mount in Hampshire in the UK. And it's built on something, not sure what. This is the pyramid at Castle Howard, also in the UK. It's clearly a type of folly. These are all built in the 1700s usually. By the 1800s, all this sort of formalism went out of fashion. People just wanted trees everywhere, and they even ditched their formal gardens. But in the 1700s, 1600s, they liked to have all these ruins on their land, make it like a sort of adventure playground of as tropical as they could get plants, and also this sort of stuff. This is Mad Jack Fuller's tomb. He was around in the late 1700s, the early 1800s, and it's I guess those are his other ancestors. And this is in Ireland. And all those were obviously modern. They're all obviously modern. This one is obviously modern too. This is close to Dalkey in Ireland. It's where Bono lives. I was actually walking around here, and I walked, I think, from Dalkey up to here, and I got to this island. I was stuffed after a long day's walk, and I didn't even know you could walk further and find this. It's the southern part of Dublin. It is just beautiful. It's beautiful around here. That pyramid, obviously modern. Obviously modern, though it is on a hill, and pyramids were on hills. That's not really what I want to show you. And again, this is the same thing. What I want to show you is this. I saw this, and I thought, what? I thought, are you kidding me? That is an Atlantic step pyramid in Ireland. And this is unbelievable. It's in a village called the Neale. I was just looking, I thought, that is exactly like you find around the world. And the people who built this, or rebuilt this, the country gentlemen, they didn't have time to travel to all these islands and whatever. Well, they may have had the time, but not the means. And even if they'd traveled, they wouldn't have found all these other pyramids. They wouldn't have known what Atlantic pyramids look like. So this must be based on a genuine Atlantic pyramid, which was in Ireland. Again, that's an older photo in which the pyramid is in a more ruinous state. So you can see how it's been rebuilt. People have just piled up stones. In modern times it's been fixed up, but it was something like this after it was supposedly built by the squires, right? That's another one. And we can read about this. Neale, County Mayo. It's in this sort of mythological part of Ireland. It's up here, away from the English, nice and safe. There is so much stuff up there, so much archaeology. If you're into archaeology, head over to Ireland. You will find so much. And it says here, the Neale is steeped in historical and archaeological wealth, which is virtually unknown, spread over the landscape, the ruins of Norman castles, etc., etc. It goes on to talk about archaeology. It's perhaps in recent years best known for its archaeological interest, as many unusual and unique artifacts and ruins surround the village dating from prehistoric times to the Middle Ages. Cairns, stone circles, rafts, ring forts, crannigs. But they don't talk about this. Follies and monuments. The Pyramid of the Neale is an example of a folly. A folly was a building that served no purpose. Temples, pillars, grottos, small castles. It says the step pyramid was built around 1760. It goes on to say it was built to provide local employment. They always write that to the unemployed local people. There's also a temple monument, etc., etc. And you know, I think this is just wrong. This was rebuilt. If anything, it wasn't built from scratch. And I'll try and prove that. Also at the Neale you find things like this. Like, that's obviously almost modern. If this was a medieval angel or something, there would just be a head with wings or something, and it would look weirder than this. This is what it looks like, yeah, in the 1700s, 1800s. They're trying to be medieval, but it just doesn't work. The medieval stuff was way weirder than this. And you know, pyramids, they're usually north-south, right? North, south, east, west. So that's a simple test to see if the Neale pyramid is actually a real pyramid. So I thought until a few days ago. So I just looked up Google Maps, the Neale, County Mayo, Ireland. Yep, nice rustic house. And how I actually found this, you just go to a brochure. It's really hard to find something on Google Maps. Just if you look at you look up a village, you try and find something, it's really hard. So what you do instead, you just download a local brochure telling you where everything is. And this actually tells me, if I just bring it back to 100%, the pyramid, and it's actually even got a map, and it tells me exactly where it is. So there's this property here. So you look for the shapes of properties. This is how to be an armchair archaeologist as well in this video. So you look up the shapes of properties, and that tells you everything you need to know. You can look up that shape on Google. So we go back, and this is that shape that I showed you earlier, and the pyramid was just north of there, and that is the pyramid. And I was very dismayed. You can see this is the angle it's on. To see it's not north, south, east, west. So I thought, okay, well, I guess it must be fake. It must be a folly. But no! No, you look at the Atlantic pyramids. Okay, this is what you get at the Azores. It looks so similar. This is what you get at Tenerife, the Canary Islands. It looks so similar. And I was actually looking up this on Google Maps. Now they say these pyramids are fake as well, built by landowners as well. They say the same thing, but they're actually astronomically aligned, and guess what? They're not north-south either. They're on a similar angle to that Irish pyramid. You know, and there's more. There's a lot more. This is in Mauritius. You know, thanks to the internet we know about this. This is in Mauritius, same thing. This was an empire which circumnavigated Africa in ancient times. Mauritius, it's in a field. And you look up these on Google as well, and every single one of them, they're not north-south aligned either. They're on a similar angle to the pyramids at Tenerife, except because they're the southern hemisphere, you would just flip it around, so all the directions would be the opposite. You flip it around on the north-south axis. And these are all pyramids, you see. And you can find out what these are aligned to. This is 20 degrees south, so I just looked up a chart for Brisbane because it's convenient to me, which is 27 degrees south. And I'll show you what's going on here. This is 22 December. Okay, this is the summer solstice sunrise, and that's the angle. That's the summer solstice sunset, and that's winter. Okay, so the summer solstice sunrise, east-southeast, will be in that direction, and so it is pointing to the sunrise. So you would stand behind the pyramid, and you would get an effect basically like that. And we can do the same thing with Ireland. And I was quite interested to see that it's hard to get an alignment for those pyramids. Those pyramids, that pyramid in Ireland is on an almost north-south angle. It's sort of a north-west, north-south, etc. angle. You know, this is the angle. It's a northwest north angle. So, you know, there's nothing like that unless we look at the major lunar standstill, which is every 18.5 years. Now, surprisingly, this is Dublin, or, you know, I've called this Atlantis, you know, this whole UK area. All the angles, that's summer, the sun wraps around overhead. That's winter, it's very low in the sky. All the angles are almost at 45 degrees. So if it was aligned to the sun, we would expect this pyramid in Ireland to be aligned to 45 degrees of the major axes, but in fact that is not the case. It is, you know, aligned almost north-south. So I'm guessing, if, you know, I got this from Google Images. This is the Boyne Valley map. Newgrange and Earthen Ring, Knowth and Dowth are all aligned to each other according to lunar standstills. So I'm guessing that this pyramid is aligned to this major lunar standstill. And this is kind of, you know, this is kind of how you do armchair archaeology. You just see what fits. And, you know, there is a possibility that this pyramid would have been rebuilt, I guess. And when they rebuilt it, they changed the angle, because according to that Wikipedia article, it was built on an existing tumulus, and I can't see any remnant of that tumulus. I'm guessing that the tumulus was a previous pyramid or something. And that angle, it strikes me as similar to that angle. Otherwise, I don't know what angle it could be. But look, it's on the same, almost the same angle as all those other Pacific pyramids, and I find that absolutely extraordinary. Of course, there was a snake cult in Ireland. You know, it wasn't the one that he destroyed, but I guess it would have been similar, because pyramid builders, the people who built these stepped pyramid platforms, they were obsessed with snakes. You look at the pyramid of the feathered serpents, Kukulkan, all this stuff. Can you imagine that this would have been eradicated in Ireland? This is St. Patrick. Apparently he got rid of all the snakes, and if you look at the Irish high crosses, they don't have snakes on them. That's a subject for another video. We also don't have snake serpent temples like at Avebury. This huge serpent. We had this in the New World as well, didn't we? We have the serpent mound in USA. We don't have this in Ireland. We should, but it's not there. I think they may have had snakes in the past. Can't prove it, but they may have had snakes. And this cult was worldwide. But they don't like snakes. They got rid of this old religion. Snakes are a fundamental part of the Nordic religion, and yet they're not in Ireland. Ireland is warmer than Norway. I find that quite extraordinary as well. So I think when they eradicated the cult, they eradicated many of these pyramids as well in Ireland. And the one we see at the Neale, I've written here on the file name, not the folly. I think it's absolutely genuine. It's just been rebuilt so many times because it's made of these loose stones. Guys, thank you very much. Bye bye.